How's that? I think we're Gucci now. Someone send me something. Please tell me we're good. George, are we up? Can you hear me? Someone say yes. So we didn't have sound at first. I think it fixed it. There it is. All right, thanks, Offset. All right, what a half performance from this defense. Unbelievable. Matt Corral has torched everyone he's played so far this season. Everyone. And he has come in and gotten pulverized by this Arkansas defense. Hats off to Barry Odom. We've been saying it all season long. You look back to last year, y'all. It's the exact same defense, basically. Yes, you added a Julius Coates. Yes, you added a couple other guys. But, like, the guys that are making plays, you had Jalen Catalon last year. You had Grant Morgan last year. You had Hayden Henry last year. Joe Fouché last year. I mean, these are guys that aren't all a bunch of new. And yet, Barry Odom has come in and said, what happened the last couple of years? Unacceptable. He still has a fire in his belly. I remember asking him on the morning rush. I said, Barry, you're an alumni of Missouri. You got let go by your old university. How much is that going to motivate you for this season? Proof's in the pudding, y'all. What's happened so far this season? This defense is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's start with George. A comment from George. And any comments that you want to put in here, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're up on all those platforms, so feel free to chime in on that. The Hogs are actually getting coached this year. Isn't that unbelievable to see this team? I know you as an Arkansas fan, you continuously kept saying, I think we have talent on this team, don't we? Like, there is talent on this team. Well, this is showcasing it. Now, it's 20-0. It probably should be more in the realm of 35-0 in this first half, the way the defense is playing. The offense has to take advantage more of the turnovers of the defensive forcing and not just settle for field goals. Garrett brings up an excellent point. How much is Barry Odom going to get offered in the offseason? Now, here's what you have to factor in. With COVID and athletic departments, there's not going to be a lot that are going to try and make big moves in terms of paying out coaches and just adding lucrative high deals. Now, Barry's going to get his from the U of A if he decides to stay on. That's going to come down to if Sam Pittman can retain him, because so far he's been the surprise of this entire team. Now, you could say there's a couple players. We saw Hudson Clark interception today. We saw Jalen Catalon fumble recovery and a pick six. But if you want to just central it down to one person, it's Barry Odom. Because all offseason long, all we talked about is the defense is lagging behind. It's behind, but it's not. It is so far ahead. It's unbelievable. And that's a credit to Barry Odom and really his staff. Sam Carter, Ryan Rhodes, the list goes on. Derek LeBlanc, the list goes on and on and on. Also, let's think about this, and George brings up another good point. And again, if you want to get your comments in here, you can send them through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, however you may be listening, send them in. This defense is doing this without Bumper Pool. Think about that. This defense right now is doing this without one of their best playmakers so far in 2020. I mean, that just is unbelievable, y'all. Unbelievable to this point. Unbelievable. And what I said about when Barry Odom came over is the fact that he did it at Memphis and Missouri. He wasn't doing it at LSU. He wasn't doing it at Tennessee. Not these blue blood programs. I thought that was important for Arkansas because you have to develop if you're going to be a head coach, an assistant coach, a coordinator at Arkansas. You're not ever going to be able to have the roster littered with 4 and 5 stars. So when it comes to picking up less heralded guys, less recruited guys, you've seen what Barry Odom has been able to do that. JP replies in on Facebook. He says, give him a blank check. I think Barry's earned it at this point. This goes back to what I said earlier. This dude has a lot of fire in his belly still. Think about, many of you have had different jobs over the years. I've been let go of jobs before, and that ticked me off. It didn't tick me off at the previous employer. It ticked me off I was like, man, I'm not doing good enough. Something I'm doing is wrong. You have to go back and almost look at yourself in the sense. And being a head coach in this league is a lot different than being a coordinator. And Barry's been known for his defense for quite some time. And he gets to singularly focus on that. And you've seen the results. You've seen the results. So this is a pleasant experience so far. First game for me this season, getting to watch in Donald W. Reynolds Raceback Stadium. Didn't go to the Georgia game because I had my buddy Johnny's wedding and Allie's wedding to go to, which was awesome, by the way. But this is, so far, it's a pretty good experience. The fans are pretty loud. Press box, it's divided a little bit. It's a little more room because they have these barriers, and there's only one outlet. But pretty good experience so far. Cody brings up an excellent point. This is when it comes back to Sam Carter, the secondary coach, who he's talking about. Incredible. Sam Carter so far this season. Again, remember, this is an all Big 12 former defensive back for TCU. And I remember him watching him play, and I went back and actually watched highlights a couple weeks ago. He is playing exactly like his players did back in the day. And that's what's so incredible is you watch these guys and you watch Sam play back at TCU. There's so many similarities that you can look at, which I think is incredible. All right, let's see. Again, you get your comments here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I'm going to do this. I'm going to share our screen real quick to you guys. We're going to look at the stat sheet. All right, so you are looking at the stat sheet right now. Good a comparison. All right, so Arkansas is beating Ole Miss right now. The total yards per rush, not by a lot in yards per rush, yards gained. I mean, you look at the difference right now. Turnovers has got to be the biggest difference, though. I mean, that's what Arkansas has been able to do. They got lucky away with one when Felipe threw that errant pass on the opening drive. It ended up resulting in just a punt, but I was a little frustrated to see because that's what we kept talking about throughout the week. Hey, you got to start fast. You got to start fast. They go 3 and out. They punt. Luckily, the defense holds. It's that Stonewall type of approach. All right, let's get back to here. But those are just some of the statistics, and if you wanted to keep doing that now, if not, Cliff asked, great question from Cliff. Cliff asked, do I not have a red shirt? So I wore the morning rush. Nope, that's the Greg Norton time. It's morning rush, but I'm wearing the powder blue. I was sitting with my brother and a couple other people earlier before we came into the game, and they were frustrated with me because I was wearing the Ole Miss powder blue. But I mean, I'm gonna have to keep wearing this if they keep playing like this, So. It's the defense has been unbelievable. Jeffrey, you're exactly right. Defense has been absolutely incredible so far this season. And I think what I continue to go back to, and listen, I'm not the most talented radio host. I'm not the most talented writer, TV person, whatever. Obviously, I'm in the realm of sports radio right now. But I specifically want to be working for the station I'm working for. I want to be working in the state I'm working for. Arkansas Sports Radio has appealed to me for quite some time. I have no desire to go national or whatever. And again, I'm not the most talented, but I bust my tail every single day. And I think that's what you just want in your football coach and your staff and your players. You're not asking them to be the most talented. They're not going to be. It's Arkansas. But you like a coach, and because what happens is when you have a head coach that wants to be here, and it seeps into the players too. Like even the ones out of state, like for example, Jalen Catalon out of Mansville, Texas. Texas, one of the best high school players that Chad Morris ever seen. One thing you could say about Chad Morris, you can hate him all you want, but he got Jalen Catalon on campus, so at least give him credit there. But I think as far as your coach, you just want someone that embodies your university and that just wants to be here. And Frank wanted to be here. That's why he stayed here for late 50s all the way to when he retired, 2009, 2008. If I remember that correctly, the late Frank Broyles. I mean, and I don't want people to mishear me. I'm not comparing Sam to Frank for what he did for the University of Arkansas, but I am saying, like, you see the connection, the fiber of guys that want to be here. Got a great comment from Ghost Tactical so far. It says, if Barry Odom doesn't win the Broyles Award, something is wrong. Through 4 games, he is definitely in contention for that. As far as that goes. Sean says that Tommy needs to give me a red pullover. So I'm wearing mine. Again, it's morning. I got to flip this. It's morning rush pullover, and I got an ESPN 95.3 shirt underneath. But apparently I'm getting flack because it's powder blue and it's Ole Miss colors. But again, Sean, it's working. That's what you just have to be. That's what you have to be happy about. It's working. Again, get your comments in here: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as Twitch. We're on a variety of different platforms. Just live here from the press box, reacting to Arkansas's 20-0 lead in the first half. Arkansas was helped out by a running into the kicker. That's what led to their first touchdown. They're doing these weird kind of read options where they'll fake it to Traylon or Rakeem on the inside. Franks will roll out, and Traylon's just kind of sitting there in the flats as other guys are blocking. So the cornerback or the outside linebacker has to make a decision. Does he attack Franks or does he try and stay with Traylon? And it's led to a couple big plays. So it's been a really outstanding performance so far in this first half. Now, again, I said earlier, Sam Pittman would love to be up 35-0 or 38-0, and they would have an opportunity to get that. But that's just where you're at right now as far as that goes. Anthony brings up they should be 2-1 on the season. I know we got elongated long way to go in the cart's before the horse. But if you remember, Auburn lost today. They lost. Tennessee looked horrible today. They got blown out by Kentucky at home. Knox, gross football game if you're a Tennessee Volunteers fan, if you liking that. Here's an interesting question. Ty asked the question, what's up with Boyd this season? I don't think he's fully healthy, Ty. I think that you've seen him through first couple. I mean, yes, he got the touchdown earlier, but he doesn't look necessarily like himself. I think that's also a little bit on the offensive line, but I think he needs to get back in sync a little bit. I'm curious to see what they do in the second half as far as switching him and Traylon as far as that goes. But that's something we'll just have to monitor again. Again, we're live on Hit That Line AR on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch as well at Hit the Line. So make sure you're following all our social media accounts if you want to stay in tune with the Arkansas content that we have. As far as that goes, I want to remind everyone, so we'll have the IMG post game on our radio stations, hitthatline.com, and also our social media. But make sure you tune in for Phil Elson and Matt Jenkins. They will be conducting Hog Reaction, the post game show. Really excited about that. I told Jenkins it's a lot more fun to do a post game show following an Arkansas win. Fingers crossed on that. They've looked good so far. It's just been a really solid performance. But I know that Sam Pittman's pointing out the different mistakes they've made, pointing out the opportunities they didn't take advantage of, because that's what every coach does as far as that goes. So that's going to do it here for our halftime reaction segment. Again, make sure you're following all our social media accounts. If you like these type of things and you like podcast format, make sure you're following our Hit That Line podcast network. Subscribe, rate, and review. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. We have that up. You can listen to the Morning Rush podcast, Halftime Pod, Ruskin and Zach, Primetime Preps, Hog Talk Podcast. What am I missing? Fantasy Football Sunday, Hog Reaction. We got 7 podcasts now, a part of that network, so make sure you subscribe so you can listen to all your favorite podcasts. All right, I'm going to sign out. This is done for me. Again, Phil Elson, Matt Jenkins, about an hour following the Arkansas game. So an hour after, ESPN 95.3, Fort Smith River Valley, ESPN 104.3, Harrison Mountain Home, ESPN 96.3 Hot Springs, Central Arkansas, and then ESPN 99.5 up in Northwest Arkansas, as well as hitthatline.com as well. All right, that's going to do it for me. I'll see y'all later. Hopefully